Hello, welcome. Today, we're going to talk about a special kind of verb in English. We call them stative verbs. And don't worry, they're pretty simple once you get to know them.
So in English, we basically have two types of verbs. On one side, you have action verbs. These are for things you do, like run or jump or eat. But then you have state verbs. These are a bit different. They're for things like feelings and thoughts. And today, we're going to focus on these state verbs.
Okay, so let's be super clear. What is a stative verb? Well, it's a verb that describes a state, like a feeling or a thought. The most important part to remember is this: it is not an action.
Now, because these verbs are special, they have one very, very important rule. It's so important, we're going to call it the golden rule. Okay, here it is. This is the big one. Are you ready? Normally, no ing. That's it. With stative verbs, we normally do not add ing to the end. I'm going to say it again so it really sticks. Normally, no ing. So how does this golden rule work? Let's look at some real examples. We'll start with our first group, verbs for feelings. Here's some really common verbs for feelings. We have like, love, want, and need. All of these describe a state or, how you feel inside. Let's use our rule with a verb like. We say, I like pizza. That's correct. It's perfect. Because like is a feeling, a state. We would not say, I am liking pizza. And why not? Because of our golden rule, no ing. Let's try another one. How about the verb want? The correct sentence is, I want water. It describes what you feel you need right now. So the incorrect way would be, you guessed it, I am wanting water. All right, great job with feelings. Now let's move on to our next group of stative verbs, the ones we use for our thoughts. Okay, for thoughts, two really common verbs are know and understand. These talk about what's happening in your mind. It's a state of knowing something.
So, let's take the verb know. You would say, I know the answer. That's right, because knowing is a state in your mind. You would not say, I am knowing the answer. It just sounds a little strange because it breaks our rule. And it's the exact same idea for the verb understand. You either understand or you don't. It's a state. So we just say, I understand. We don't say, I am understanding. So let's just remember that golden rule one more time. What is it? For these state verbs, normally, no ing. Got it? But, English always has a little surprise. There is a special case we need to talk about, and that's the verb have. Okay, so have is interesting because it can be a state verb and an action verb. It just depends on the meaning. So when have means you own something, it's a state. We say, I have a cat. But when have means you are experiencing something, it's an action. So you can say, I am having fun. In that case, the ing is totally okay because it's an action. All right, we have covered a lot. Let's do a quick final review of everything we learned today. So, let's go over the main points. First, stative verbs are for states, like feelings and thoughts. Second, what's the golden rule? Normally, no ing. Third, remember that verbs like, want, and know usually don't use ing. And last, remember have is special. I have a pet is a state. I am having lunch is an action. And now, to finish up, I have a little question for you to think about. What is something you know? Try to make a sentence with that verb. Thanks so much for learning with me today. I'll see you next time.